After last week's infield preview, where we focus on first and third base, in this position preview, getting ready for the 2023 season, we will be taking a look at the middle infielders. We're going to start with the starters or the presumed starters, but we're very confident that these two are going to be the starting middle infield for the Chicago White Sox. At shortstop, Tim Anderson and Elvis Andrus being the starting second baseman. And we're going to start the conversation with Tim Anderson. And for his projections now, and this is coming from FanGraphs, the depth charts projections for Tim Anderson: 16 home runs, 58 RBIs, 289 batting average, 322 on base percentage, slug 427, a 3.2 WAR season for Anderson through that projection system. And Zips is projecting in 109 games, 13 homers, 45 RBIs for Tim Anderson, a 293 batting average, a 324 on base percentage, slugging 432, and a 2.6 WAR season. This, of course, is coming after a uneven, let's call it, 2022 season for Tim Anderson, because from opening day to Memorial Day weekend, Tim Anderson was a top 15 player in Major League Baseball, Jim, according to wins above replacement. He was already at 2.1 WAR. Then he got the groin injury, and he was replacement level for the rest of the season when he played. And when he was fighting through that injury, then he had a broken bone in his hand, and then he missed the rest of the season. So that's why I say it was a pretty uneven story for Tim Anderson in 2022. He's already made some comments in spring training, everybody pulling on the same string and try to bring more positivity to the White Sox clubhouse. So when it comes to his big story in 2023 before the season starts, what kind of Tim Anderson are we going to see in 2023, Jim?
In a few ways, because there's the performance thing. There's also, he with Jose Abreu out and with, maybe not a leadership void, but just not the guy everybody points to as a leader. And with like somebody like, Eloy Jimenez saying like, I don't know who the leader is. And, Pedro Grifol says that leaders aren't, named, basically leaders become leaders. They don't, they aren't christened it. So like there is a gap there. And I think, Anderson, part of the reason why he hasn't been able to naturally assume that title is the availability, and just, missing, an average of a third of a season makes it hard to be a leader if you're not around, or if you're in a case like last year, just compromised physically, just, basically being your best self only for a couple months of the year, and then trying to get by the rest of the year, and then not being able to be on the field for the last 2 months, basically. So you look at it that way, and just like, it's amazing that he finished with an average above 300 with everything he had to deal with. But, given the stakes, given just how, much the White Sox offense looks to miss Abreu on paper, and that the ways to combat his absence will be a bunch of improvements all around the diamond. Anderson's probably does as much to help the team as anybody if he's able to harness that improvement, because not only is it like all-star level performance, but it's also games. Like the games have to be there.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a very motivated Tim Anderson. And I've been mentioning this in previous podcast episodes. I've coined the phrase bombs equal bags. I got to get my own saying straight. That I think we're going to see more power from Tim Anderson because of how much the premium shortstops have recently signed for in free agency. And here he is making $12.5 million this year and $14.5 million next year. You can consider him underpaid, but this is a pivotal year for the White Sox. And as an organization trying to get rid of the bad taste in their mouth from 2022, Tim Anderson is right in that same boat. He's trying to get rid of the bad taste that happened in 2022. And him focusing on the positive vibes and using positivity to move forward. We'll see if that positivity will turn into bigger and better results, because I do think he is one of the top 10 shortstops in Major League Baseball if he's healthy, Jim. And that's going to be something that he needs to prove in this season as he turns 30 years old, is that he needs to figure out a way to stay on the field.